The Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority today, revealing that a suspected military camp where 95 Libyan nationals were found is illegal and unaccredited. It follows a probe into the matter. The facility operating license has now been suspended. Psira CEO is Manabela Chauke, who joins us on the line this evening. Mr. Chauke, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. South Africans will be curious to know, how was this camp allowed to operate in this way undetected?
Good evening, Toli, and thank you very much for taking our call. Toli, as we've explained during the day when we gave the brief, that the work of dealing with the camp has started some few weeks ago, even before the arrest could take place. So there was a quite extensive work that needed to be done so that we get to the bottom of everything. As you might know, that these illegal operations do not only operate in the dark, but even using legitimized structures. So we needed to get to the bottom of everything. Thank you.
Yeah. How many similar camps have you found since the discovery of the 95 Libyans?
So far, this is the only camp that we are aware of, and we have heard in the media elsewhere that there are other camps that we may not be aware of, and we are appealing on members of the public to bring those details to our attention so that we can deal with those forthwith.
Yeah. Is it therefore I think I've got to pose this question in this way. Today, I was reading a report on News 24, and it is exactly on the media briefing you held, and they were suggesting that some 7 kilometers away from the main camp where the 95 Libyans were caught, there was another similar camp that was discovered by yourselves. Is that accurate?
I think that is not accurate. It is the same matter that we're dealing with. We are dealing with two kind of camps here. One camp sitting in the same farm, quite a very huge farm, by the way, which extends 7 kilometers deeper into the farm. The one structure is the one that has been accredited, and the second structure is the one that hosted the Libyans. So that's the illegal one.
All right. Okay. So it makes sense. And I do apologize if I've misread that report. And this apology I extended to News 24 as well, if I misinterpreted their writing there. But let's then talk about how, or the kinds of questions that you have asked the person who was running this camp, Mr. Chauke. Have you asked on whose behalf were these 95 Libyans being trained?
Thank you, Toli. As you might be aware, that the matter has been seized by quite a multidisciplinary agencies. We have our role, and our role was limited only to the operations of the training camp. Insofar as, of course, the training of security officers is concerned, as we already confirmed that the operator of the camp is the same operator that has been previously accredited to conduct certain security training, so we couldn't have gotten to that extent. How, other details, and such as where the matter started and so on, I think other agencies are looking into that.
The consequences surely cannot only stop at suspending the license for the owner of this camp, extending the scope of what he is supposed to do. Based on your report today, you are saying that the program, the normal program for security training, was actually extended by this camp for much longer periods. What will be the sanction?
The consequences for the service provider, insofar as the license is concerned, is if he's found guilty, he may be facing suspension of registration. He may be facing withdrawal of the license, including a fine up to 1 million. If he is found guilty, of course, if he's found guilty, he can still appeal the sanction. However, the matter doesn't end there. There's also criminal charges that may follow. as we've already outlined that insofar as we are concerned, there may have been violations of other criminal statutes, and we've mentioned one in particular, the Regulation of Foreign Military Assistance Act, that has been violated.
Yeah. Explain that act for us a little bit more.
Just to simplify it for the viewers, in terms of our legislation in the country, a citizen of South Africa or an entity in the country is not allowed to participate in activities which would be assisting a foreign national or an entity from a foreign country or a group of persons from a foreign country with training and many other things that are prohibited by the Act. That makes it illegal if those people come from a country where there is instability, in particular armed conflict.
Yeah. I've got to ask the question because what you have just said now links back to the initial question as to who were these people being trained for, and is it your view that this kind of training would amount to a threat to the sovereignty of the South African state?
The question as to who they were being trained for, it's something that the investigation will still unravel, but it is our view that it indeed is going to threaten the sovereignty of the state if we leave it at that, because in terms of our national security policy, we are not allowed to participate in such activities.
This is a very serious matter. So are you going to be laying charges as the regulator of the private security industry?
Definitely. Definitely we will be pursuing criminal charges, and I believe that the people who are responsible will then have the opportunity to then answer to the law at some particular time in time.
All right, final question, and briefly if you can. The police, you have a particular relationship with the South African Police Service as a private security industry. How is that relationship affected after this discovery?
There is no issues at all with our relationship. We work very well with the police. You may know that even the joint operation was done together with us.
Thank you very much for your time.